They thought it was just a love letter. But that single piece of paper turned an entire school upside down. Gift, a quiet girl with nothing but a pen and her secrets, suddenly found herself mocked, humiliated, and betrayed. The person she trusted most became her greatest enemy, and the boy she secretly admired was hiding a painful truth of his own. Stay with me until the end of this story, because what began as a childish crush soon became a mystery of jealousy, lies, and shocking revelations. This is the love letter scandal. And I promise you've never heard a boarding school story like this one. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more powerful African stories that inspire, teach, and keep you glued till the very last seconds. The rusty school gate creaked open as students trooped in, dragging boxes, hugging friends, and shouting over one another. It was the first day of a new term, and the compound buzzed with excitement. Among the crowd was Gift, pulling her small box with quiet strength. Unlike others, she wasn't laughing or shouting. She was a girl who preferred silence, hiding behind novels, pouring her feelings into journals instead of saying them out loud. But this term, Gift carried more than clothes and textbooks. She carried a secret crush. Among all the boys in her class, one stood out, Nonso. He wasn't loud, he wasn't popular, yet there was something about his silence that made him unforgettable. He rarely spoke, but when he did, the whole class listened. To Gift, that mystery was irresistible. Still, she couldn't tell him. Instead, she wrote her heart out in anonymous love letters which she hid inside her locker. Writing them was enough to calm her racing heart. That evening, as she arranged her locker, she whispered to herself, "This term will be different. I'll stay out of trouble. Nobody will know." But she didn't notice when one of her folded letters slipped to the ground. Her best friend, Obiageli, picked it up, her eyes glinting with a strange smile. Gift thought her secret was safe, but Obi's smile was the beginning of a storm she could never imagine. The next day, whispers floated across the hostel. "Did you hear? Someone wrote a love letter in our class."
Gift's chest tightened. Could it be hers? She forced herself not to react. But when she entered class, the noise was louder than usual. Laughter filled the room. On the notice board, pasted boldly for all to see, was her love letter. Her handwriting was clear. Every line of admiration, every silly metaphor, every confession exposed. Students gathered around, pointing and laughing. Her face burned. She rushed forward, tore it off, and crushed it in her hands. Behind her, she heard whispers. "So it's her? She's the one crushing on Nonso?" The quiet boy himself stood at a distance, staring at the letter. His expression was unreadable, and that hurt the most. Later, in the hostel, Obi smiled sweetly. "Why are you upset? At least now he knows how you feel." Gift froze. The betrayal was too sharp to ignore. But what Gift didn't know was that this was only the first move in a cruel game, and Obi had no intention of stopping. That night, while closing her locker, Gift found a folded paper that wasn't hers. Trembling, she opened it. It read, "Don't let them laugh at you. Some people understand even in silence. A friend." Her heart skipped. Could it be Nonso? The next day, another note appeared. "If you really meant every word you wrote, then don't regret it. Not all letters are foolish." She clutched the paper, torn between joy and fear. But then came a twist. Chike, the noisy boy in class, stood boldly and announced, "I'm the one who replied to her."
The class erupted in laughter. Gift's stomach turned. Could it be true? But the handwriting didn't match his careless nature. That night, another note appeared. Don't believe everything you hear. Some people lie to shine brighter. Her heart whispered one truth. Chike was lying. But if Chike was lying, then who was really writing to her? The answer would drag Gift deeper into a trap she could not see coming. As days passed, Gift noticed Obi sneaking around at night. One morning, a new paper appeared in her locker. This one was cruel. The words mocked her. Desperate girl, crying over a boy who doesn't notice you? Her chest tightened. The handwriting was messy, not Nonso's. Someone was trying to destroy her. Whispers spread quickly. The laughter grew louder. Nonso's gaze turned sharp, as if angry. Finally, after prep, he stopped her in the hallway. You didn't write that last one, he said quietly. Her eyes widened. How do you know? He looked straight at her. Because I wrote the first reply, and my handwriting doesn't look like that. Her heart thundered. So it was him. But before she could speak, he added, Someone wants to disgrace you. Don't trust everyone. His warning cut deep. And that night, she heard Obi whispering to another girl, She's too easy to break. Just watch. Gift's blood ran cold. Could it be that the very friend she trusted most was the one tearing her apart? The next evening, another note appeared. Be careful who you call your friend. Meet me behind the library after prep. Her chest tightened, but she went. The moonlight lit up Nonso, leaning against the wall, calm as always. He said softly, I don't care about their gossip, but if you keep letting them win, they'll never stop.
Why are you helping me? She whispered. His eyes softened. Because I know what it feels like to be mocked. Before she could reply, footsteps echoed. A shadow appeared. Obi. She clapped slowly, smirking. So it's true. The mysterious Nonso does speak. Her laugh cut through the night. Tomorrow will be fun. Gift froze. What exactly was Obi planning? And how much worse could tomorrow really get? By morning, the entire school was buzzing. Gift and Nonso had been caught sneaking around at night. Teachers warned her. Chike mocked her louder. Then came the final blow. A fake letter insulting Nonso, forged to look like Gift's handwriting. Copies spread like wildfire. The hostile matron stormed in, waving the paper. Shameful! Insulting your classmate? This will go to the principal. Obi raised her hand, fake sweet. Maybe she's just too shy to admit it. Gift's world collapsed. The next day, she and Nonso stood before the whole school at assembly. The principal's voice boomed. This school does not tolerate lies. Do you deny it? He asked her. Yes, sir, she whispered. Then why defend her? He asked Nonso. Nonso's voice was steady. Because she is innocent. Gasps filled the crowd. But the principal shook his head. Until we find the truth, both of you will be punished. Laughter erupted. And in the crowd, Gift saw Obi smiling. But what Obi didn't know was that the first crack in her perfect disguise had already begun to show, and soon the truth would slip through. Their punishment was harsh, scrubbing the assembly hall daily. At first, Gift felt crushed, but working beside Nonso gave her strange comfort. One day she asked, Why do you keep defending me? He paused. Because I know how it feels to be wrongly accused. His sadness shocked her. But peace didn't last. Another note appeared on her bed. Stay away from him. Last warning. Her hands shook. That evening, she showed it to Nonso. He folded it calmly. "Whoever wrote this is scared." "Scared of what?" she asked. "Scared that we might discover something." The words haunted her. The next morning, shocking news swept the school. Nonso had been caught sneaking into the staff room at night. Students whispered in fear. Gift's heart froze. What secret was Nonso hiding, and why was someone so desperate to silence them both?
But was Nonso really hiding a dark secret, or had someone finally set the perfect trap to destroy him? The morning was restless. Students whispered in small circles, eyes darting toward Nonso. They say he sneaked into the staff room. What was he looking for? Maybe he's a thief. Gift's chest tightened with every word. She wanted to defend him, but her own reputation was already ruined. If she spoke, they would mock her more. By afternoon, the principal called Nonso into the office. Through the half-open door, Gift overheard the stern voice. "Why were you in the staff room at night?" Nonso's reply was calm. "I was looking for a file." The principal frowned. "Which file?" Nonso hesitated. "A file about me." Gasps echoed from the teachers present. Giz's heart raced. What file? What was he hiding? What secret was buried in that file? And why would Nonso risk everything just to uncover it? That evening, Gift cornered him near the corridor. "Why would you risk sneaking into the staff room?" His eyes darkened. "Because they are hiding something from me." "What is it?" she whispered. He glanced around to be sure they were alone. "My father left me here without telling me why. All I know is that the school keeps a file about my family. I thought if I could read it, I'd find answers." Gift's lips parted in shock. Nonso's silence all this while had been more than shyness. It was pain. Before she could respond, Obi appeared suddenly, her arms folded. "So this is why you are always together, sharing secrets like husband and wife." Her voice carried, and by the next morning, Obi had spread another rumor. Nonso is a thief looking for secrets. But was Obi simply stirring trouble, or did she know far more about Nonso's past than she was willing to admit? Determined to clear his name, Gift decided to prove Obi was behind the fake letters. That night, she pretended to be asleep in the hostel. Through half-closed eyes, she watched Obi slip out of bed, clutching a folded paper. Quietly, Gift followed. Obi tiptoed to Gift's locker, opened it, and placed the paper inside. Then she looked around and smirked, as if proud of herself. Gift's chest burned. She wanted to shout, but she needed proof.
At dawn, before others woke, she opened her locker. Inside was a new letter. "Nonso is dangerous. Stay away before it's too late." The handwriting was fake again, but now Gift knew her best friend was the enemy all along. But how could Gift expose Obi's lies when the entire school already believed them? The next morning, the principal called another emergency assembly. He held up the new letter. More foolishness, this time warning Gift about her classmate. His voice thundered. "If this continues, I will expel someone."
Gift's hands shook. She couldn't take it anymore. "Sir," her voice rose louder than she ever thought possible. "It's not me. Someone is planting those letters in my locker." Gasps rippled through the crowd. The principal's eyes narrowed. "And who is that person?" Gift's gaze fell on Obi. For the first time, she saw not her friend, but a stranger smiling coldly in the crowd. Her voice cracked. It's Obiageli, my best friend. Students gasped. Obi stepped forward, feigning shock. Me? Why would I betray my own friend? But before the argument could grow, Nonso stepped out. He held up the crumpled warning note Gift had shown him earlier.
Her handwriting doesn't match these, he said firmly. But I've seen Obiageli's notes in class. They match perfectly. The crowd buzzed louder. Teachers began comparing samples immediately, and slowly the truth started unfolding. But would the evidence be strong enough to finally unmask Obi? Or would she twist the story again and turn the blame back on Gift? Obi's mask finally cracked. Tears spilled, but her smile was twisted. Yes, she shouted suddenly. I wrote them. I wanted everyone to laugh at her. Because she forgot me. She stopped being my friend the moment she started looking at him. The crowd gasped again. Some shook their heads in disbelief. Others whispered. Gift's heart broke. Obi? Why? Her friend's eyes burned. Because you were mine, my only friend, and you replaced me with him. The principal's face was stern. Enough. Friendship is no excuse for cruelty. You will face suspension for this. Obi's shoulders slumped, but her eyes stayed cold, fixed on Gift. You'll regret this, both of you. But was Obi's warning an empty threat, or the beginning of an even darker twist that Gift and Nonso could never see coming? After the assembly, Nonso and Gift were cleared of guilt, but the mystery of his staffroom visit remained. That evening, the principal called Nonso privately and handed him a brown envelope. You could have asked instead of sneaking. Here's the file you were looking for. Nonso's hands shook as he opened it. Inside were letters, old, yellowed with time. They revealed the truth. His mother had been a teacher at the same school years ago. She died suddenly under suspicious circumstances, and the school had kept it quiet to protect its reputation. Gift listened as Nonso whispered, "So that's why my father left me here. To hide me from questions?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Nonso, I'm so sorry." He shook his head. "At least now I know the truth, and I'm not alone anymore." But if his mother's death was truly suspicious, then what else was the school hiding? And could the past still come back to haunt them both? With Obi suspended, the school calmed. Rumors died slowly, replaced by curiosity about Gift and Nonso. Students whispered less. Some even admired her courage. For the first time, Gift walked the compound without bowing her head. One evening, as they finished their punishment together, Nonso turned to her. Gift, he said softly. Thank you for believing me. Her cheeks warmed. Thank you for defending me, even when everyone laughed. Silence hung between them, but it was no longer heavy. It was safe. But just as a new bond began to bloom between them, a chilling question remained. Was Obi truly gone from their lives, or was her bitter promise still waiting to strike? The term rolled to an end. Gift no longer wrote secret letters. Instead, she carried journals filled with courage and stories. Nonso sat with her more often now, still quiet, still mysterious, but no longer invisible. As the rusty gate creaked open again for students to return home, Gift pulled her box behind her. This time, her steps were lighter. She had lost a friend, but found something deeper: truth, courage, and a quiet boy who understood her silence. And though their story was not yet finished, one thing was certain. No letter, fake or real, could ever define her again. But little did she know, life still had more secrets to unfold. Secrets that would test her heart, her friendships, and the boy she thought she was beginning to understand. Life teaches us that not every friend is truly a friend. Sometimes the ones closest to us may be the ones who try hardest to break us. Gift learned that betrayal can come dressed in smiles, but also that courage can silence lies. She discovered that truth strength is not in hiding feelings, but in standing for truth even when the world laughs.
And Nonso's journey reminds us that everyone carries secrets and pain we may never see. Sometimes, silence hides the loudest battles. The lesson is clear. Choose your friends wisely, never let mockery destroy your worth, and always stand by the truth. Because at the end of every storm, only the truth brings freedom. If this story touched your heart, remember, your silence has value, your truth has power, and no betrayal can stop your destiny. If you enjoyed this story, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe so you don't miss the next powerful story. Until next time, keep holding on to truth and never forget, you are stronger than the lies of this world.